Welcome to a brand new set of Devos that we have for you this week called The Blame Game. Folks, there are few things that are going to get your life to a place of destruction quicker than when you adopt an attitude of blame for the things that don't go the right way. Now, when I say this, I say universally, all of us are going to deal with some sort of thing that goes the wrong way. Whether it's something that we do, a sin we commit, whether it's something that's done to us. And we find ourselves in a situation that is less than ideal. It's something that we never expected we would deal with. When that happens, we have to make some choices about what we ought to do to move past it. Blame is not the choice that you want to make. Blame and obsession about how things happened that got you here is not going to yield any results. And we're going to look at some perspective on blaming and how so often blaming leads us nowhere and how many times people live their lives just blaming those around them. So let's look at the first ones that we tend to blame when things don't go the way we expected in our lives. Mom and dad, our parents, right? Now, I love talking about this subject before I had children. Now that I have 3 children, not so much. Because I am going to be one of those parents that probably my children blame for something, right? But when it comes to the things that happen wrong in our lives, our parents are not going to be the reason why we choose to do the wrong thing. We have the power of choice. God is going to hold us individually accountable for that choice. As a matter of fact, when we stand before God one day, we're going to stand before Him alone, just us and Him. It's not going to be with your spouse. It's not going to be with your pastors. It's not going to be with the people that you surround yourself with. It's going to be you and Him, and it's your life that you are given account for when it comes to the way you've chosen to be a steward over it. Now, that shouldn't scare you, but it should invite you to let go of blame, especially when it comes to your parents, because I think if we're all being honest, all of us have things that our parents may or may not have done that we kind of, wish that they would have done differently, right? So let's look at what Ezekiel says. Now, Ezekiel is an Old Testament prophet, and Ezekiel had very strong language that he used to describe different situations that were happening in the life of the nation of Israel, especially in the tumultuous time in which he was a prophet. But Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 19, he says, "Yet you say, why should not the son suffer for the iniquity of the father?" He said, you ask, why is the child not suffering for the father's sins? When the son has done what is just and right and has been careful to observe all my statutes, he shall surely live. He's saying individually, the child is going to have a life that reflects his just living, not the unjust living of the father, not the unjust, sinful living of the father. He said they're separated. Now, this is an implication. It's not a New Testament explanation of these things, but it makes sense from a New Testament perspective. Because again, we have individual access to God. And it doesn't work when the father is doing bad, and it doesn't work when the father does well. If you remember, one of the biggest arguments that Jesus ever was into with the Jewish people at the time is they put on a pedestal their own lineage of being Abraham's descendants. They looked at, just because they were descended directly from the father of the nations, Abraham, that they should be afforded the right to do whatever they wanted, and they in fact had more authority. When in reality, Jesus goes, the one you've descended from is your father, who is the devil. And essentially, Jesus levels at them that their behavior, it's the things that they're doing that is causing the calamity. It's why judgment is coming upon them because of the way they're treating others. All of this to say, don't blame your parents. Don't blame your parents. Listen, you've been doing that for a long time, some of you. It's not getting you anywhere. Should you explore why you do some of the things you do as a result of things that have happened to you in your past? Sure, there's a lot of value in that. I've done that. A lot of people I know have done that, where you really dig in and see why you feel certain things and why you experience things on that level. I think that work is noble. But the moment that you start blaming your parents for your bad behavior, you're in trouble. You have the opportunity right now to turn everything around. And the first thing you want to turn around when it comes to your life being in pieces is blaming your parents.